Alright, looks like we actually got a feed. Looks like everything's working. Alright. Welcome back, chat. Let's... Bear with me here, I got to make some changes. Well, at least we were able to get it sorted quickly. Not sure what exactly is going on there, but... Alright, so welcome in. Now we have footage for everybody to also see, instead of just listening to me talk and not have any footage. So, welcome back. This is our finale weekend here at GTRC for our Group 4 championship. This is the main championship here at the Gran Turismo Racing community, so we'll be crowning a champion at the end of this race. And it's been a drivetrain championship, which means that each week of racing has been a specific drivetrain required for the race, whether that be a front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or mid-rear engine. And today we are finishing off, of course, with the front-wheel drives at Red Bull Ring, which could prove to be interesting if weather does factor in, as Red Bull Ring is one of those racetracks here at Gran Turismo 7 that has that dynamic weather feature. Okay. Streaming is so fun with all our technical issues all the time. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Alright, so just bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen, while they're potentially qualifying here, actually. Changing the shared links on the Discord servers now. Just bear with you. Bear with me. Alright. So we are now on flying laps here in qualifying. So the first lap we were just sitting there was just an out lap anyways, which is not an official lap. It's not counted towards the driver's qualifying time because they don't essentially put in a proper flying lap. So it's just part of the process in racing for those of us that may not be race fans. But I doubt that's the case here at the page. But you just never know. So Doug Barrow here is the first out on track, so that's why we're sitting on Doug Barrow's car here. There's no specific reason other than the fact that he is in the lead of the pack here in qualifying. So. Actually, that might have been the first hot lap. It was. It was. I'm getting misleading information from the game here. Alright, so Doug is in pole position currently on the racetrack after the first hot lap here in qualifying. These guys will probably only get 2 or 3 laps here in qualifying. GTRC does qualifying slightly different. There's probably going to be a penalty coming there for Doug as he comes around. Looks like we had one of the drivers just disconnect here. Alright, so it looks like just 2 laps here for our qualifying drivers. Wow, these guys are really shooting that corner wide into turn, I believe it's number 9 there. That was an improvement there for TDC. It would have been a good enough improvement to put him up in the top 4 there potentially, but because he had that penalty, it's an uncounted lap. So that penalty was definitely costly there for TDC Gaming there as he comes around. We got Raj Yu here sitting in 8th place. We've got Hair Razor in 9th, and if Bart gets back into the lobby, he'll start in the back of the grid. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but race control will be on what's happening behind the scenes, and either we'll see Bart return or we won't. So. Alright, a little bit of an improper stream for us because we had the first part of the stream not showing us any video or giving any audio. So, with that being said, this is the Gran Turismo Racing community. This is a Group 4 Drivetrain Championship finale here today. And it should be a pretty spicy race at Red Bull Ring here. This will be a 1-hour event. It's a hard and medium racing tires required here today. In the case of rain, and the moisture gets to 33% on the racetrack, which is indicated by an in-game meter, then the tire mandates will be null and void. So it's going to be interesting to see A, what the drivers decide to do for tire choice at the beginning of the race, and B, if Mother Nature is going to bring the rain. Bring the rain. Front-wheel drive cars are not actually all that bad in the rain either. I mean, it's a front-wheel drive car. If you've driven a front-wheel drive car in real life, you'll probably understand a little bit. I've owned front-wheel drive cars for a large part of my early driving lifetime, and I fully understand how they react in slippery conditions and whatnot due to that fact. So I actually enjoy the front-wheel drive cars in the game. They are a little bit off kilter what happens in real life, in my opinion, but they're fun to drive. They're fun to drive, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I am a massive fan of that Audi TT Cup car in Group 4 class here in Gran Turismo. It's probably my favorite car out of all the cars when it comes to the racing classes. Is actually this Audi TT. I got a deep, dark, secret crush on it. Ten four. 10-4, good sir. So we only had 3 drivers in the 38s here in qualifying. Petrolhead was right there nibbling, and TDC's 39065 was right there nibbling as well, just in behind Petrolhead's time. So alright, we're just rocking and rolling here. We'll be seeing a race start here shortly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what's exactly the hold-up is, but race control is going to be sending it here very shortly. Let's go see what we see here. I gotta get some information. I don't exactly know what's going on per se behind the scenes here. As like I said, this has been a crazy 2026 so far. So let's go see what's going on here. So the driver leading the championship actually isn't in the grid here today, but has a pretty commanding points lead. So we are green here, and we have gotten started here, and Doug Burrow does manage to hold pole position through turn 1. Super was down on the inside, but wasn't in position to make a pass there, as the Scirocco got a much better launch than the Suzuki Swift there. We got Petrol here in third place all over the rear bumper of Super here, and got a very quick position on tap as well there at race start. So Petrol up 1 position, looking to be 2 as he's on the outside of turn number 3 here, and going to get the job done. Power gets planted really easily in these front wheel drive cars, and it's almost immediate grip. The thing you have to worry about the most in these front wheel drive cars on your exit is wheel spin. These front wheel drive cars are all pretty much turbo accelerated machines here on the racetrack as well in the Group 4 class here in Gran Turismo 7, so that can create some pretty good wheel spin, especially in the Audi TT car, for example. I know that because I know the car very well. So that's really the only thing the guys and gals need to worry about on the racetrack in these front-wheel drive cars, in a sense, on corner exit. You can get the power down quite early in these cars. It's just a matter of controlling wheel spin when you get the power down. Obviously, wheel spin's going to cost you a little bit of momentum and speed compared to somebody who's just going to get raw power down in immediate grip. They're going to grab traction, which means they're going to grab miles per hour a lot quicker than if you spin the wheels a little bit. Most of these front-wheel drive cars have a low to mid range turbo in them as well, which means they rip through the early part of the gear very quickly, and that's what creates the wheel spin. So you do have to kind of manage that. on the corner exit. But other than that, I mean, these front-wheel drive cars are immediate power to the ground. Pretty much any situation, you can go off track in these cars relatively well and regain composure, so to speak. Half-second track limit penalty here for Superboy now, as he's trying to apply some pressure to Petrolhead here, but now he's starting to feel a little bit of heat from Tap and the Scirocco in behind here as well, in 4th place. So this was our 3rd place driver. At one point, we got Supra looking to get a pass here on Petrolhead here, but he is carrying that half-second penalty. So I mean, all this is really doing is taking these guys out of the fight towards the race leader here right now. But I mean, this is the way it goes. He is going to lose at least those 2 positions here with this half-second penalty. So we've got Supra hard defending with a half-second penalty here on the very inside of the racetrack. Is almost 3 wide on the corner exit there, as Petrol's just trying to patiently wait for this penalty serving zone essentially to come around here so he can come around or get around the driver. So now it's side by side here by Tap and Petrolhead in behind here, as Supra is holding up the charge of these two essentially here, leading up into the penalty serving zone now. So he is going to go wide on the racetrack there, and he's just going to have to stay tight on his line, and he does need to pull off the racing line here to serve that penalty, which he does, which does allow Tap and Petrolhead both to get the position on him, but is also going to lose the position to Type R and Mike 1972 here. And that's fairly significant because Supra is battling Mike 1972 for the overall 3rd place position here on the podium, with Hair Razor sitting in 2nd place, but he's sitting in 2nd place fairly comfortably here. Coming into the race today, we got Rad Juju in 8th position here, and we got TDC Gaming in 9th place. We had 10 on the track, but one had to bow out right before race start there, so we are down to 9 here today. And it is random weather here in the race today as well, so with that being said, rain could be a possibility here, and very always interesting in the front-wheel drive cars, how the drivers handle the wet conditions in these front-wheel drive cars. They actually drive fairly well in the wet. You just got to manage trajectory essentially. And Supra there made a little bit of a bold move, I think, there, and that backfired on him as it cost him more positions down the racetrack. And Superboy here just continues to very quickly slide down the grid here, and over aggressive driving at times is not going to necessarily do you any favors here. So now we've got a good hard battle here as Supra again trying to force his way in beside a Hair Razor here, and Hair Razor's just kind of chilling. He's like, all right, I see what's going on here, but he's not giving him an inch here at all. So all right, Doug Barrow up in front, 2.4 seconds ahead of Tap now in 2nd place, who is half a second ahead of Petrolhead here in 3rd position. We got Mike 1972 here in 4th position, starting to close that gap up. Superboy trying to close in here with some aggressive driving, but that aggressive driving is potentially going to bite him in the long game here, as far as tire conditioning goes, and making mistakes on the racetrack potentially as well. When you're driving aggressive, you're over driving sometimes. When you're over driving, you're costing yourself time a lot of times without realizing it. So we'll see how that works out for him. We've got Type R here in 7th place. We've got UU in 8th position. We got TDC Gaming here in 9th place. And I mean, they're very tight pack there, those back 5 cars here right now. And then we got this front 4, and they're kind of in their own little game at the moment. And the fun thing about the top 4 is we got a Scirocco there, we've got a Mazda here, and that'd be the Atenza, and then we've got the Audi TT right there. So we got 3 different front-wheel drive cars here, all in the lead, battling it out right now too. So that makes it fun. That makes it fun. Mike 1972 here in 4th place. He's kind of losing touch a little bit with that front pack there. He was closing in on him, but he either had a penalty maybe or made a mistake, and he cost himself some time on that front pack. So now he finds himself kind of almost at the mercy of this very large back group here that's closing in very quickly, being led by Supra here, with Hair Razor just in behind in 6th place. We got Type R in 7th. UU is all over Type R here in 8th place, and TDC is just a whisker in behind here in 9th place as well. So 8 seconds separating first through the back end of the field here right now, so fairly decently close tight back here still as well. You could actually hear the wheel spin in the Mazda there. When he came out of the corner there, you could hear the wee wee wee. That was the wheels spinning on the exit there, getting the power down, the turbo, you know, pushing hard on those front tires. It's not really a battle here for P2. It's more friendly racing right now. They're very close quarters, not helping each other, but they're not battling each other at the same time. They're fairly equally paced, I guess is what we're going for there. Mike 1972 here is starting to slowly pull back away from the backpack here, which essentially has him in no man's land right now. He's about 3 seconds off the front pack and about 2 seconds over from the backpack here, so he's just kind of in the middle of it all. Supra here has half a second over Hair Razor currently right now as they head down the front straight. We've got Type R right in behind Hair Razor by 3/10, but basically a car length separating those two. We have TDC in 8th place, just a couple car lengths in behind, and UU right in behind him, just a couple car lengths as well in 9th place here. So I think this race is going to be very interesting as it progresses, as the tires start to wear down especially. Got a good run into the mid part of the corner, did Petrol there, but you see a little bit of a wibble wobble as he hit that inside apex. There's a little bit of a dip in the road or a bump in the road right there, and you kind of drop and bounce a little bit, and then he tried to get down on the throttle right at that point there, and it cost him a little bit of momentum there. So it was a great attempt to try to close the gap there down the inside from Petrol hit, but unfortunately there it just didn't work out for him that time around. So he's going to try and start to close the gap up through the S's here and see what he can do in another lap or so maybe. Got Mike here again, still right there in the middle of no man's land, but we got a little battle happening right here between Type R and TDC here at the moment. So stick around in 8th place, 7th place here for this two-way battle for position here is the Napa Auto Parts. Scirocco is battling the Team Red Suzuki here. Big exit there from TDC as he come around turn number 10 there. He came around with all that corner being utilized, really trying to harbor the momentum around the corner, and it worked. He get close right back in here. He gets a nice tight line through turn 1 there, but unable to find position currently here on Type R. Yep, in front here in 7th place. So good little battle right there. So Doug is only 0.9 seconds now ahead of Tap. So I'm not sure what happened there, but Tap's closing the distance, and Petrol is right there in behind still as well. So potential three-way battle starting to develop there for the race lead. Mike 1972 is losing a little bit of time here to that front pack, but maintaining his pace on this backpack. Still led by Supra. He's still got a slim margin over Hair Razor here, but a little less than second currently. And then about a half second separating each of the cars through the field here. Alright, Tap is making a push here as Doug is seeing that gap diminish corner by corner here, lap by lap, as Tap continues to close up and continues to close up. It continues to close up here, and he's going to take a look there. He just gets out in some clean air there, sees if he can draw a reaction out of the race leader, but he does not. Looks a pretty cool, calm, collected customer behind the wheel of the racing car. Tap isn't unfamiliar with that, but you just never know. Sometimes you can catch him watching their mirrors, and you can catch a little reaction out of him, just that instinctual reaction from a driver, right? So you can see here Tap taking a look again, mainly for clean air, so he can get his braking point in as late as possible without making contact on the race leader. So that is a little bit of what we're seeing there, but it's also a little bit of mind games. It's also mirror games as well. So a healthy little fight for the race lead here, though, between Doug and Tap right now, and Tap just unable to really get the position on the race leader here right now. So the race leader is doing just enough to keep the pressure in behind him, so to speak here. But the more that he continues to have to kind of semi-defend or defend his position here against Tap, that's also allowing that TT Cup car Petrolhead to close in and turn this into a three-way battle in behind here as well. So kind of comes down to how much defending do you want to do here. Really determining, is he getting close enough to really do anything in this corner, and should I be taking a more natural line through this corner, which is just what he is starting to do here. He's not in a defensive position here right now. He knows the Tap is just too far back to make anything happen as far as an inside move goes, so he's just going to stick to that preferred line through the corners here for the time being. But if Tap starts to close in, we'll see that change again. We'll start to see this more of a semi-defensive posture coming from Doug there. You'll see him just shorten up his corners a little bit, just to not leave an open door on the inside of his race car. See what happens here as we head into turn number 3. Tap is not quite close enough here, but the thing is, with this corner, you're under braking, you're under slipstream, you can essentially pull in beside leading into the corner, but that's a little bit of a late move, and these guys usually don't typically race like that. So we're gonna see Tap try to get a proper run here, to get a proper move here, and now you can see him starting to apply the pressure. He's kind of looking for a way around here right now, and it's tough at Red Bull Ring because you get a good run, and then you got to start making a bunch of sets of corners again, so you have to strategize your time and where you are on the racetrack, so to speak. So he's actually going to opt to go on the outside of Doug here, and I think that was more of there's a position here and there's a spot to go beside Doug on the racetrack here, because Doug's not leaving any room on the inside, obviously, naturally. So that is forcing Tap to go on the outside. We are starting to see Tap trying to utilize that a little bit more to get some clean air in the race car, try to find a little bit of a game for room on Doug there, and you can see he tried to get on the inside there, but Doug just had enough momentum, and just far enough ahead of Tap there. He was again able just to defend off this attack here for first place. But as I said, as the longer that this continues between first and second place, he is going to allow that third place car to close in, and now Petrol is only 3/4 of a second off of this fight here for the lead. So Tap again is going to take a look up the inside here, and again Doug just has enough position to be able to fight that charge off from Tap. Tap is giving it everything he's got, but he just can't quite find a position on the inside of Doug's car here into a corner to make a proper move. And now Doug's not going to give an opportunity for that here. He made that defensive posture. He got Tap to take the outside lane, moves him over. That allows Doug to take a nice line through the corner, allows him to defend that first place position, and forces Tap to just continue doing what he's doing. Take a different line, get a good run, get back in behind and look for an opportunity or look for an opening, or try to make an opening on the race leader. So we're going to see him take a look up the inside. He's going to go later on the brakes here. That does gain him a little bit of position there, and a little bit of contact there, and you can see Tap's going to give that back up here, I think. He's going to do it in a very smart way, though. It's not going to compromise or cost him too much time. It costs him a position there, but that's the way it goes. It's a great job there from Tap. You realize that was obviously not the intention there. Doug may not have known or realized that Tap was inside there and finally had a little bit of car position there, but contact was made and the driver sorted it out right there on the racetrack themselves. So that was pretty good. They were able to navigate that incident out, self-sorted out on the racetrack, so to speak, between themselves without causing a bigger pileup and without costing himself a whole lot of extra time. I mean, he was still right there in the fight. It cost him a position with Petrolhead. That was great for Petrolhead. That pulled him right back into the fight here, but we see Tap make that early pit stop here as well. And you can see the clouds are starting to roll in here as well at Red Bull Ring, so maybe there's a signal here that the weather is moving in potentially, and maybe Tap was just the first one that was paying attention to his weather radar. Hey, what's up, Cupcake? How you doing, homeboy? So Tap did make a considerably early pit stop at 17 minutes into the race here. Maybe this is a part of his strategy, but to me, I think he sees something on the weather radar. He should be coming out of pit lane here, so let's go take a look. He is going to come out on those intermediate tires, so that does signify that we have something moving in the area here at Red Bull Ring in Austria right now. And Petrolhead there having to make a little bit of an evasive maneuver on Doug there as he came in a little hot, I guess, and took a really awkward entry into the corner there, which allowed Doug to defend that battle for the lead there. But great job by Petrol to recognize that a crash was imminent there and reacted to it before the crash happened and actually avoided a big incident there between the race leader and second place here. So great recognition from our drivers on the racetrack here today. It is definitely hard racing. These guys are definitely driving hard, and I guess when the pace is fairly close and fairly equal and between the drivers, that's the time we see the drivers take a little more risk and a little more chance, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But calculated, I guess, is what I'm going for. I mean, Tap's move on Doug was calculated. It was just Doug wasn't aware. I think that Tap had a little bit of nose positioning there. Got Mike 1972 now coming in. We got Superboy now coming in here to pit lane. Hair Razor also coming into pit lane. We got some brave souls that are going to continue to go around here as the rain is coming down. All right, here we go. So rain has found its way to Red Bull Ring, ladies and gentlemen, but we are not technically declared a wet race yet at this point. We're only at about 20% moisture currently on the racetrack here right now. We need to see that meter hit 33% to stay there for more than a brief moment. So the rain is starting to come down fairly hard here in the sector 2 here. So we have technically hit the 33% mark here now, but we're just going to monitor this here for a moment because I very well just could have been that section of the racetrack. Doug and Petrol off the racetrack here. All right, so definitely a wet race at this point here as we are now at the tail end of this racetrack on this lap, and we're almost at 50% moisture here on the racetrack in the back end, where we just saw the race leader Petrolhead absolutely skirt off into, well, the mud currently right now at the end of the S's there. So let's see how the rest of our drivers that opted not to come into pit lane handle this here now, as we got Type R and TDC Gaming also on racing slicks here currently, and definitely in one of the more wet parts of the racetrack currently. So I suspect we're going to see these two come into pit lane here as we come around turn number 8 and 9. Yes. Alright, so Tap was the first one to recognize the weather coming in and make the decision, so let's see what he opts to do. An interesting choice. Super just comes out on another set of racing medium tires there. And with how much rain is on the racetrack, I'm not sure how much that is going to pay off for him. Tap there sliding a little bit wide into turn number 1. He's got a half-second penalty currently being carried over his race car with Mike 1972 very close in tow. So Mike 1972 in a good spot here to take the race lead away. So the early decision making here from Tap and Mike 1972 definitely paid off. It got them the undercut and did get them into the race lead ahead of Petrol and Doug Barrow here. Petrolhead does come out ahead of Doug Barrow in pit lane there. Doug Barrow is losing a position here now to Hair Razor here as well. So Hair Razor working the undercut there. As this now side-by-side action between Hair Razor and Doug here. They're in the exact same car, so it really comes down to the drivers here between these two. And these two are quite equally paced racers as well. So a little over-under, though, coming here from Doug as him and Hair Razor come through. And is Doug going to hold the position? Hair Razor is going to take a look up the inside there. He checks up a little bit, maybe a little concerned that Doug wasn't aware that he was there. I'm not sure. Or it's just a difference in the two tire compounds. We do have some drivers that have opted to come out on the intermediate tires. We've had a couple of drivers that have opted to come out on wet tires. We've had a driver come out on racing medium tires. So some different tire strategies being played out here as we see rain hit the racetrack at about the 20-minute mark. Went about a third of the way through the race here today, and it is currently tapped at the race lead. Mike 1972 is very close in behind here, just a couple tenths of a second at this point. Petrolhead's still in third place with a half-second track limit penalty there now. Still trying to find an answer here for that race lead today. He's been nibbling there all day long so far. Just hasn't quite been able to find it yet. We'll see if he can find his way to the front here before the end of this race as this continues on. Mike 1972 is battling though. He's trying to close in on tap here. He is just having a great race here today in that Mazda. Doug here, fourth place, 3 seconds in behind those top three here. Now he has managed to get around and stay ahead of Hair Razor after that little brief battle we've seen those two having last lap. Type R is up into 6th position here with TDC in 7th place. We've got UU here in 8th place, and Super, I'm assuming, probably coming in to get off those racing medium tires. To probably take some rain tires on. Maybe he hit the wrong button when he was in pit lane, selected the wrong tire, or it was just the wrong call there coming from Supra here today, but most likely going to cost him his race here today. Not necessarily, but just most likely. There we see Petrol serving his penalty there, so that's going to cost him some more time on these race leaders here now. Doug is 2 seconds in behind Petrol here. Hair Razor's 2 seconds in behind Doug, and then there's a gap, about 15 seconds to the last half of the field here. I'm not sure why or where, but it is what it is. UU with about 6 seconds in between herself and a TDC here, and Super now almost a lap down at this point. 2/3 of the lap down here right now, currently on the racetrack, with that additional pit stop being made there, which I assume for wet tires, yes, intermediate tires. It's tough to try and figure out how to make the right call when you have rain, when you have inclement weather involved. You may have a tire strategy with your racing slick tires, and then you may have a backup plan B or C for potential of weather like this, but you can't predict when it's going to come. You can't predict how long it's going to stay, and you can't predict how wet it's going to be. Those are a lot of the things that are unpredictable, kind of the unknown factors when it comes to the dynamic weather at Gran Turismo. So that part of it is it's just a big question mark. You're making audible calls at that point in the race when the weather changes like this, and you got to go with the flow. You got to go with the flow. A little bit of a pun there in a sense, I guess, as the water is definitely flowing on this racetrack right now. And these front-wheel drives, I did state earlier that they handle wet conditions quite well for a race car, actually. So they're doing a pretty good job. You have to just really kind of, the trick with the front-wheel drives in the wet is just to not allow them to start sliding in the middle of the corner, essentially, right? So locking up the tires, will screw any chance you have of making a corner in a front-wheel drive under slippery conditions. You have to basically just direct the car without any throttle input around any kind of corner, and then until that front end is in a straight line again, you don't really want to be on the power, because the second you touch the gas in the front wheel drive in wet conditions or icy conditions or snowy conditions, the car just wants to pull straight. It wants to pull straight. And obviously if you're in the middle of a corner, pulling straight doesn't really work for you when you're trying to turn, right? So it's just a matter of patience and controlling the trajectory and speed of your car around a corner. And if you can get that figured out, these front wheel drives are a ton of fun to drive. In wet conditions, they really are. Oh no. Did it happen again? Definitely having some issues with my capture card. You guys didn't see. No, you guys didn't catch any of that at all. Okay, good. There was definitely a moment there where the capture card was sinking. Been kind of having a suspicion that the capture card has been on its way out for a while now anyways. It's a very old capture card. It was used when I bought it. Great battle between Hair Razor and Doug here, side by side through turns 9 and 10, and now as we head up the front straight, it is going to be Hair Razor that's going to edge out the Doug barrel there. Let's go take a second look at that. We have a battle up into turns 1 and turn 1 there as well for second place between Petrol and Mike. Take a look at that there. It looks like Mike did defend the charge off from Petrol into turn number 1 there, so great job there from Mike. And battle still on. Petrol goes for a very short exit, but it worked out for him. He really closed up the gap on Mike 1972 there, really put him on the rear bumper essentially. And as he continues to roar up the racetrack here, he should be able to get that position heading into turn number 5 here, and easily gets the position. But is he going to cook the corner here is the bigger question. He came in a little hot, really had to get that car to gather itself up, and somehow managed to get that around the corner and also keep the second place position there on Mike 1972. But he's just going to settle in a little bit here and get back into his rhythm here now as hard-fought battle there. The adrenaline's rushing a little bit, so Petrohead now up into second position there with Mike 1972 down into P3, but no pressure in behind. 5.6 seconds is the nearest car here, and that's Doug Barrow, and he is being challenged very strongly here by Hair Razor. These two continue to battle back and forth here around these last couple of laps, and now we got Hair Razor taking a look up the inside into turn number 9 here on Doug Barrow. This is for 4th place between the two, and it is side-by-side action. Hair Razor is going to try and defend off the over-under there, and he does a good job in doing so. And all he did was just kind of place his car a little bit more towards the middle of the racetrack on the exit, as opposed to utilizing more of the curbing there, and that was just enough to stem the undercut, the cutback from Doug there. But Doug's now going to move up the inside coming into turn number 1 here, and no, he's going to back out of that there and get tucked back in. I'm not sure what the motive was there. Maybe just too shallow of an entry, and he had to check itself up to make sure that he got the corner exit the way he wanted there. But it definitely cost him a little bit of momentum there as Hair Razor now opens up the gap to 3/4 of a second there. So it is tapped 2.2 seconds ahead of Petrol, who's starting to slowly but surely open the gap up on Mike here. Hair Razor and Doug having a good hard battle there. I'm sure that will ensue at some point here. Then we got TDC, or the Damn Cat, here, 17 seconds in behind. He has managed to get around Type R and open about a 3.5 second gap. Type R is about 3.5 seconds ahead of Team Rad's Yu, and Team Rad's Yu is about 55 seconds ahead of Superboy here, who may be playing a long strategy here, potentially. But it's going to be tough. You can get about 30, 40, or 45 seconds of that back if the rest of the field were to pit again, he were to stay out. But it's still not enough to give him the race lead, so to speak. It might be enough to put him back up in the mid-pack, but then he's going to be fighting on potential really wearing out tires. He's in a tough spot. He's got himself in a really tough position here in the race today. Alright, so our top three here have slowly settled down. Hairraiser has driven away from Doug Barrow a little bit here, almost 2 seconds. Doug Barrow just settling back into his rhythm here now. I think he had a half-second penalty there as well. Like a potential retired car? Alright, so Petrohead, he's kind of in a fight for his life here again with Mike 1972 here now. Mike has closed back in a little bit here on the Audi driver here and is starting to apply some pressure back on here. So let's see if Mike can make it happen here. Tap is just having an absolutely spectacular race here currently right now. 1.6 seconds ahead of that battle currently developing in behind him here. Petro takes a fairly hard defensive line here and that costs him big time. You can see he locked up the front tires just a little bit there, and that lockup caused him to slide really deep into the corner. And obviously, he wanted to change his tires here. But he locked up going into the corner there, and that caused the car to slide out to the outside edge of the corner, and Tap just absolutely drove right around him on the inside there. Good positioning, and then had the right momentum and trajectory going to really make that easy. So Mike 1972 now up into second place. We got Hairraiser here in third. We got Doug in fourth place, and we got Petrol coming in for a scheduled. This is a scheduled service here. It looks like. Interesting. You can really hear these cars starting to struggle a little bit, getting the power down out of the corners especially. You can see Petrol absolutely overshooting turn number 3 there as he comes out of pit lane there. So we got a battle between UU and Type R here. A little touch between the two of them there, and Type R just checked up a tiny little bit of extra there, and I think that was no harm, no foul in my opinion right there. They just got a little bit close together and touched tires. But Type R does checked up just a little bit there and allows UU to grab that position from him there. So UU up into P6. Petrol here after a pit stop in 8th place. So we got Super still sitting in pit lane here. So, I mean, he could have toughed that out. Kept going, you know. He looked like he may have had the fuel to potentially make the distance there as well. So, anything's possible in racing. That's just it. I mean, I've come back from bigger deficits in races than that before. Obviously, a little bit of a longer time frame in the race, but with rain factoring in, and yeah, I mean, anything's possible. Right, so we got some varying tire strategies going on for sure here. I'm trying to decide which one of the tires right now, of the 2 wet tires available to the racers, is actually the better tire for the current condition. starting to think that the heavy wets might be the ticket here right now. Currently, with the conditions on the racetrack, it seems like they are a little bit quicker. Alright, so top race leader, Mike 1972 here in second place. Hair Racer now up into third position here and closing in on Mike 1972. Doug here in fourth place. Cat in fifth place here. And he's kind of in no man's land, so to speak, right now. We got Yu in sixth position. She's been having a pretty good race here. She's making a good recovery right now. Got Type R here in seventh, and he is being battled here by Petrolhead, who is up the inside as they head up the front straight here. And heading into turn number one, should be able to get to pass Gucci here. He's got a good line through here. Lots of curb right there. It's going to make the car bounce a little bit, but again, front wheel drive. Just got to get the power down, and it'll start moving in a straight line again, which is exactly what happens there, and he gets the job done. So Type R into 8th position there, and it does look like we have a retired driver there. Kind of listening to the car right now. That's a pretty good wheel spin coming out of the final corner there. You can hear it. Let's jump on board here for a minute with Top as he takes us around Red Bull Ring in the rain here. Wrong button. Got to look where you want to go. You can hear the puddles as he hits them. starting to come back out of the medium tire here, but doesn't seem to be the case here. I'd be thinking about it right now if I was in this race at this point right now, knowing that there's a very solid dry line starting to burn in. I'd be thinking about jumping in for medium tires right now. I don't know what the weather radar looks like, however, though. I can't see what the drivers can see, obviously. I can if I go out to the lobby and look, but I don't want to do that, obviously. That means we won't see what's happening on the racetrack. Alright, so Petrolhead is closed in on UU here now, so this is a battle for 5th position here between UU and Petrolhead here. And it's a good battle too there, a little over-under action coming here. Petrol does manage to get the inside track there, but UU trying to utilize the water as much as she can here for those wet tires as well, trying to hold on to as much of that rubber on those tires as she can. You can see a lot of these racers are driving offline right now because that's where the water is on the racetrack. Great setup there from UU. Looks like Petrol's coming into pit lane here though, however, to probably put medium tires on if I had to guess. That's gonna be my guess. Left on the clock. It could very well work because you're going to gain probably 5 or 6 seconds a lap on the wet tire guys as the track continues to dry out. I think it's worth the risk. Let's see. It's coming from the guy who hasn't raced on Gran Turismo 7 in like, I don't even know how many weeks now, 6, 7, 10, 16, it's been a while. We did one open lobby night once since last November, so yeah, it's been a while. For me, I just needed a break from sim racing for a while. I went out to grind a sim racing for 5 years straight, but I mean, it's not just about racing. It's you know, also being a content creator, trying to run leagues, trying to do commentary for other leagues. I can only do so much as one person, right? So I was getting so frustrated with racing that I just decided it was just best to step away for a while, and that's what I've done. I mean, I haven't been racing on Gran Turismo, I haven't been racing pretty much anywhere. Over the last few weeks, I've been sitting playing other games in the evenings as opposed to doing the sim racing. So that's going to change starting next week again. Here we get a little more back into a regular routine and rhythm, but yeah, that's what's been going on for those that are hanging out with us here right now. Harris are coming into pit lane here. Should be enough for Doug to grab position from Hair Razor. Depends if he has to take fuel or not. And Doug's also coming into pit lane. UU coming into pit lane. This may pay off for Petrolhead here. We'll see. It depends what the race leaders do here. only 13 minutes left on the clock. There might be enough time left on the clock where the tires will make it to the end of the race, but they're not going to be in very good shape at that point in time for these guys that are still on the intermediates. If they're on the wet tires, I mean, they're cooked. I think when Petrol came in to make the call for the medium tires was the right call. I think that was about the right time. We'll have to wait and see. He's only gained a couple of seconds on the race leaders here so far, so... And I mean, the intermediate tire in dry conditions will hold a relatively decent pace up until a certain point, right? So it's going to be up to these guys to determine how much they want to push it, right? So we see Mike decide, no, we're not going to play this game any longer. We're going to come in and get those racing slicks on. So we do see Mike into pit lane. Type R in third place with Hair Razor here in fourth place. Does have those racing slicks on. Cat's up into P5 with racing slicks. Doug's in sixth place. Petrohead now up into seventh position here and closing in on Doug Burrow here. So it was a good call, I think, there by Petrohead there, but it didn't look like it didn't pay off for him in this case, in this particular situation. It looked like it actually cost him a position. Maybe it was a lap too early, but I would have done the same thing. I would have done the same thing. He's thinking just like I am. He's thinking like a true Audi TT driver. Alright, so now the question is, do we see the race leader pit? He's got 31 seconds to the good right now. His tires are about half worn out, and he's got 11 minutes on the clock. Ooh, half-second track limit penalty there for Petrol. That's not going to help the charge any. No, Tap is going to come into pit lane. I kind of figured it'd be a bit of a stretch, to be honest, to try and take those intermediates another 12 minutes, but, you know, big strategies sometimes can provide with big results. I think he's making the right call here, though. The rest of the field's on the racing slicks at this point. Alright, Mike is on the front straight, and so is Type R. Both of these cars are at full race pace. Heading up the front straight, Mike's now into turn number 1. Pit lane is still wet, so you have to be very careful on the exit. And there it is, Mike 1972 is our new race leader here. So the undercut coming from Mike 1972 paid dividends for him right there. And up ahead by 1.4 seconds on Tap as well. So that was a massive undercut right there from Mike 1972. That was a great racing strategy right there coming from his camp here. Type R up into P3. I mean, he's got 10 seconds over Hair Razor here right now. So can he hold on for a P3 finish here today? That'd be absolutely fantastic, actually. We got TDC here up into 5th place. He's having a good race here as well. He's 7 seconds in behind Hair Razor. He's got about 4.6 seconds up ahead of Doug Burrow. We got Petrohead 3.6 seconds in behind Doug and losing time to Doug a little bit here. UU is about 11.5 seconds in behind Petrol, and Superboy done for the day. As he retired quite some time ago. I think he would have been fine. I think if he would have toughed it on the intermediate tires instead of making the extra pit stop like a lot of the people did for the soft, for the heavy wet tire, that gains him now 30 seconds back on them, and then he jumps in early for a medium tire near the end of the race like Petrol did, for example. And I think he's in the mid pack today, the way this race is kind of unfolding. That's what I think. He did definitely make a mistake in the early part of the race, coming out on another set of mediums in the rain. Like I said, that could have been a misclick mistake, or it could have been part of his strategy. I'm unsure. But I think there's still a mid-pack finish there for him today. I mean, we know he's got very good pace. As a racer, so sometimes our on-track decisions are what cost us, right? I mean, that's part of it. It's all part of the sport. Sometimes we don't make the best strategy call, or sometimes we make the wrong decision at the wrong times, and those things can make a difference in your race sometimes. And it's just the way it goes. Alright, so with Type R coming into pit lane here, that does put Hair Racer up into 3rd position. That puts Cat now into 4th place. And Doug chasing here in 5th place. That moves Petrolhead up into 6th position here now. Still losing time to Doug though, however. Got Type R here in 7th position. UU in 8th place, only 4.2 seconds in behind, and closing on 7th place there as well. Alright, so Top has been quite quick around here today. There's definitely no disputing that in the wet and the dry. So I guess the question is, does he have the pace to close in on Mike 1972 now? TDC is closing on Hair Razor slowly but surely here. Doug is losing time to TDC at the moment. Petrohead's losing a little bit of time to Doug as well. Type R is losing time to Petrolhead, and UU in behind him here as well. So UU is closing in here in 8th place on Type R. Alright, 5 seconds now is that lead for Mike over Tap here. So Tap is losing touch now with the race leader a little bit, but he's got 12 seconds to get over Hair Razor here, so no pressure at all in behind from the 3rd place driver currently. TDC is trying to close in on Hair Razor. He is closing the gap up ever so slightly, but with only 5 minutes, a little less now on the clock, he's not closing up quick enough unless Hair Razor makes that mistake, picks up a couple penalties potentially here, but he is closing in. He is opening the gap up on Doug Barrow here. Petrol is closing in on Doug Barrow here a little bit, and Type R is about to feel some heat, I think, coming from Team Rats UU here as well. A little Red Bull ring and the rain. Spice this race right up. Love it. Ooh. Good battle here between UU and Type R here right now. Definitely fighting for a little bit of room there as UU. I mean, she is allowed racing room on the racetrack there. He's pushing the limits on that a little bit, but I mean, it's hard defending here right now coming from Type R. So, patience is about a virtue here for UU. She's running out of time on the clock, but she's got a couple of laps here to get this done. So, you don't want to force it. You want to find the right moment in the right corner and make it happen. So, see how she does here. She does have a bit of a run heading into turn number 1, but this isn't the right moment. She recognizes that. She backs off a little bit, gets a good line and exit out of turn number 1 and tucks right back in tight in behind there. So we're gonna get back on this. I'm just keeping my eye on things up front there quick. That was interesting. So Type R went to go turn in a little bit early, but of course had a car beside him, makes contact, and it looked like UU gained a position back up to Type R, thinking that maybe that contact was her fault potentially, and she definitely didn't need to give that position up there. That was definitely not on her, as she had rightful position on the inside of Type R heading into the corner there. It was really up to Type R to be aware that she was there, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I'm just a commentator, keeping in mind. Don't never take that for face value, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just somebody who talks and theorizes and throws it out there until the race is over. That's my job. Entertain the masses. The masses. Alright, 4.5 second lead for Mike 1972, so the undercut strategy paying off big time, I think, here for Mike 1972. Tap here in second place, maybe potentially hoping that the rain was going to stay. He definitely looked very comfortable in the wet conditions in that car. We have Hair Razor here in third place. Cool, calm, collected as always. Finds himself sitting in that last podium position. But Cat is shaking him down. I mean, Cat's been chipping away at Hair Razor ever since that last sequence of pit stops. And I mean, he's got it down to 4.4 seconds, but with only 40 seconds left on the clock. Time is not on Cat's side here. We got Doug in 5th, we got Petrol at 6th, we got Type R at 7th, and this battle is still ongoing. This will be the final lap for that battle, so he is definitely going to be having to try and see if she can find an opportunity here in 10 corners or less at this point. And it looks like it's going to actually be one more lap to go for our race leaders here. Will be a checkered flag for Hair Razor, however, when he comes around. So third place will belong to our 69 car here, Hair Razor, and that should secure his position here in the standings today as well. Great race by him. TDC Gaming, though, coming quick and hard there at the end in 4th place. Great run there by TDC. We've got Doug Barrow here in 5th place as well. That was a great race there from Doug. Petrolhead was closing in there and is going to take a P6. So we got Radz UU has managed to get around Type R there. It's unfortunate we missed that as we were watching our race leaders come through at the end of the race here, but she does finally find her way through there and managed to get that position before the end of the race. Type R gets a good push attempt run on the outside there to make it a drag race, but unfortunately shoots a little bit wide and is unable to make it happen there. Type R in 8th place. Super will finish here in 9th. It's going to be Mike and Tap here, the last 2 drivers out, so a victory lap, so to speak, for these two. Had a great race by Tap and Mike here. I mean, it's 2 guys we typically don't see battling for the race lead. I shouldn't say that. We see Mike battling up near the front of the pack all the time. The same thing with Tap, but usually it's different faces sitting there at the front. So great job to Mike to take the season finale here at Red Bull Ring, and Tap as well here in 2nd place. I mean, Tap gets 1 or 2, maybe 3 races a season. with the group here due to his work. So comes in hot to trot here at Red Bull Ring in the rain as well. And I tell you, if it was still raining, I think if that rain, that race stayed wet the rest of the way through, I really do think Tap had that locked down. He looked very quick and very strong in the wet there. Congratulations, however, to Team Rad's Mike Mates. Great job by him for the first place finish. BR Tap in second place there, and Team Rad's Hair Razor finishing in a third position here today. So great job to all of our racers that were here today participating in the action-packed rain fest of Red Bull Ring. That's not the button I was looking to do. All right, fast lap goes to Tap, 138.199. Ooh, very fast lap. We've seen qualifying as fast as at 0.7, so it's quite a bit quicker than the qualifying session there. So low fuel, fresh tires definitely can make a difference there. But great job to Tap for the fast lap there as well. Great job to all the racers here today, and congratulations to all the competitors throughout our Group 4 Drivetrain Championship season here today. That was the finale race here for these guys and gals in this particular championship here today. Next weekend will be, I believe, the finale for their Miata series, the mini championship they have running every other weekend in between the main championship here, which means there's going to be new championships coming here from the GTRC within the next, I want to say 4 weeks probably. There has been, and I can confirm, there has been discussions on what's going to happen in the upcoming seasons. There was a meeting just a few days ago, actually, between the administration team over there and the development team about what the plans are next. So it is already being worked on here and behind the scenes as well. So once we have something definitive and solid on exactly what and when that we can expect to see the GTRC's next main championship dropping, we'll make sure to let everybody know. So if that means pay attention in your Discord servers, ladies and gentlemen, the GTRC server, the GT45 gaming server as well, and Team Rad and other servers as well, where we will most likely also be posting that information once it becomes available. So for all our racing fans out there, what's coming next from the GTRC? Well, we definitely got a group class main championship coming. Which one that is, we're unsure of yet. I'm unsure of yet, but like I said, I can't confirm that those meetings are taking place and behind the scenes and are being held, which means that the team is at work figuring out what is coming next here for the GTRC. But absolutely great racing this season in the Group 4 Championship. The Group 4 cars make for really good championship racing. Typically a well-balanced class. I think the format of this championship was fantastic. I love the way that they formatted that this season, where you had the drivetrain specific races each week. So it was a rear-wheel drive, only rear-wheel drives, or it was only front-wheel drives, or it was thanks Razor, appreciate you, my guy. You shut your lobby down whenever you're ready, my dude. Or the MR cars, right? Whatever the case may be. We also had all-wheel drives, I think, as well in the class here. So it was a drivetrain race week essentially. So yeah, depending on what kind of drivetrain was allowed that week, the drivers had their cars selected for that, and they take them out on the track and they'd race them, and that's what made this fun. I think the Group 4 was different. It's not we haven't seen a championship quite set up like that yet. It also allowed the game to display the whole class as a whole as well, right? So it really allowed the whole Group 4 class to be utilized here in the Gran Turismo racing community in this championship as well. So we didn't just see a stale select 2 or 3 cars throughout the whole championship season. We got to see a very large variety of the Group 4 class compete against each other this season, and of course the skill of the drivers in behind the wheel. So it was a really great, fun championship, in my opinion, here from the Gran Turismo racing community this season. The format was fantastic. I really enjoyed that format, and I can't wait to see what they have next for us here for their major championship. But congratulations to all our racers today, and congratulations to LMR's Ishmael Truth for a championship win here this season as well. He had a very large gap in the championship coming into finale day today and didn't even need to be here to win the championship. So he will be for sure our championship winner here this season from the GTRC Group 4 Drivetrain Championship. But congratulations to all the racers, and well, I hope they all enjoyed it, and we hope to see them back next season. Most importantly, here from the GTRC. So we'll have that content for everybody here coming into this season as well. So uh, just so everybody is aware. So we will have that main championship here right here live at GT45 Gaming, and hopefully back live on the GTRC YouTube channel as well when that championship season fires up. That would be beautiful. But congratulations to everybody. I want to take a moment to thank obviously the administration team and behind the scenes that came up with the championship and of course enforces the rules and all the regulations of the championship, not only during live race weekend, but off the track in between the off weight racing days as well. Now, obviously, there's a community behind this group, which means that there's a lot of work in behind the scenes that happens with moderation of the servers and then all of the social sites and everything that's linked to the community. So, first and foremost, thank you to the administration team here from the GTRC. Another outstanding championship here, as far as I'm concerned. I'd like to take a moment to thank the racers. Obviously, the racers come out and race every week and show their support, and I mean, they are the content on the live streams. The racers are what are providing the entertainment for our viewers here and to you guys and gals watching at home or at work or from your favorite hangout spot, whatever the case may be. We appreciate you more than anything. It's because of you that we continue to want to live stream these events, because you keep coming back and showing that support and that love. So we really do just want to thank everybody involved in behind the scenes, and of course our unsung heroes, the volunteers, the ones that seem to always get forgotten about. You're never forgotten. You are the most loved and important part of any racing organization, and we recognize that here at GTRC and GT45 Gaming. So to our unsung heroes, absolute legends, volunteers, you're legends. We appreciate you all. But that's it for this season for the Group 4 Drivetrain Championship from the GTRC. Like I said, stay tuned to the socials and the Discord servers for more information on what is coming up next. So what happens on the weekends here for the time being? Well, we still have other racing commentary content with other groups coming for you in some of the weekends, and on the off weekends, we'll just bring some content to everybody here through GT45 Gaming. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We hope you enjoyed the GTRC race here today. We do apologize for the early technical malfunction on the stream with the capture card just stopping. But thankfully, it turned back on for us and allowed us to at least get the race to everybody in full. So, much love. I'm GT45 Gaming signing off for the championship season, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time for the next major championship here from the GTRC. Ciao for now.